Do you currently have a great idea? A part of you understands that this idea has helped you in terms of your life. And in terms of advice, while you're advising other people, you have given this idea to them and you have seen firsthand that they too have benefited. Nowadays, you're thinking, how about I get this idea, I put it in book format, and I share it all around the world and benefit many people. You can do that, but the problem is that you don't know where to begin. What do you exactly do? How does someone write a book? That's what this class is going to take care of. In this class, you're going to understand the Dummies Guide in order to create a book. You're going to understand the concepts of how to create an outline, how to create a content creation strategy, and how to edit your work so you can have the idea from your mind all the way into book format. My name is Arman Chaudhary, the founder of ArmaniTalks, a media company which helps engineers and entrepreneurs improve their communication skills. Thus far, throughout my journey, I have published over 5+ books, which are currently available on Amazon, along with audiobook features. And the purpose of this class is to teach you the nitty-gritty fundamentals. Are you ready to take your idea into book format? If so, I look forward to seeing you inside. Whenever someone is thinking about writing a book, there's a lot of imposter syndrome that starts to hit them. They start to think, well, these authors can write books, but I can't do that. I'm not someone that should do that. And the reason that they're thinking something like this is because they have this wall that they've created from themselves and these authors. These authors have a thing called good writing, while the person creating the barrier has a thing called bad writing. Now, is there such a thing as bad writing? Sure. If something is sloppy, it doesn't have an idea, it doesn't have a message to a certain extent, then yes, the writing is not filled with quality. But we need to delve a little bit deeper. What exactly is good writing? I want to answer this question with another question. Did you ever have one of those moments when you got a lot of value out of a book? It pretty much shifted your worldview. And once you recommended this book to someone else, they were like, I've read it before, I don't like it. Who's right in this scenario? Is the book good under your standards, or is the book bad under their standards? Both. Because what happens is when someone is evaluating good writing, they're pretty much evaluating it from their memory banks. Whatever they're trying to improve, how much the book resonates with their past experiences or future desires, these are the variables that create whether or not someone is going to perceive the writing as good or bad. So back to you. If you're currently experiencing imposter syndrome, you have to ask yourself, do you have a certain type of writing, a certain type of idea that can appeal to at least one person in this planet? Because you're not going to make everyone your fan, and great writers even understand that. If you see any great writer saying, everyone who reads my work loves it, then you're dealing with someone who hasn't had scale yet. Whenever you have scale, you'll see that good writing is a subjective phrase. So as you're thinking about writing a book, I want you to think about what good writing is. The more that you start to find the difference between how good writing can differ from person to person to person, the more that this wall that you've imposed on yourself slowly starts to fade away, and your spirit in terms of writing a book starts to increase. So for some of you students, as you're watching the class, you want to write a book right now. While for other students, you don't necessarily want to write the book now, but you just want to see what the process is about. If you're someone who necessarily doesn't want to write a book right now, but you want to see what the process is about, what I urge you to do is start to get the snowball rolling. You ever seen that before? When the snowball starts to roll, starts to pick up more and more momentum, and that snowball eventually turns into an avalanche. That's momentum happening in real life. And this is something that we can do in terms of writers. As you're thinking about writing this book, start getting your snowball rolling. Start building somewhat of a writing practice. Maybe you could get a Twitter account and you could write daily tweets. This is one of the easiest ways to just get started today, because a Twitter account is free and you tweeting is free as well. You could go and buy a journal and start writing every single morning. You could start creating a blog, a daily email list, something. The more that you are getting the snowball rolling, the more that you start to feel more like a natural in terms of writing a book. Because people who write a book, they aren't just writing a book for the first time and they have done no other form of structured writing before. You'll see that they have a lot of structured writing beforehand from a variety of different experiences, or they've gone very deep into one. So as you're consuming this class, try to set up your snowball and start to get the momentum slowly favoring you. The outline. What? You thought I was just going to jump straight into the book? No. The outline serves as the skeleton of your book. And great writers, in interviews, in real-world experience, as you're conversing with them, will tell you that it's the outline that is their grace. They love their outline. They take care of their outline. The outline is the skeleton, and without the skeleton, the skin will just be mushy and it wouldn't have structure. Our goal is to start to view power in the outline. And what we want to start doing is to get our mind running. Are you currently getting a lot of questions in regards to a certain subject? Let's say you already know what your book is going to be about. Let's say it's about speaking skills. And let's say routinely you are getting different questions on your YouTube channel regarding a certain particular question. Let's say a person keeps running out of breath as they're speaking. Just make a mental note of that. And by the time it comes for you to outline, you may want to include that section in the outline. Let's say you don't have a YouTube channel, you still have Amazon. As you're going through Amazon, you're reading the reviews of a book that's very similar to what you're thinking about writing. You're seeing that there are certain concerns that the reviewers are saying. They're like, man, this book is great. However, the author should have brought up this topic. Once again, you could make a mental note of that. The power of outlining is to keep your mind very open in the beginning stages and understand that writing a book doesn't just happen when you're sitting down and typing. It actually starts happening beforehand, when you're starting to absorb a lot of information and you're starting to generate your idea of what the book is going to be about. So in this video, I just talked about the power of the outline, of how it serves as structure. And the next video, I'm going to talk about how to create an outline. The goal of the outline is to start off general and then gradually keep getting more and more specific. In terms of general, what we want to do is just to get our ideas from our mind outside. That's it. There's no structure in the beginning stages. Back to the speaking example. Let's say you have been a public speaking coach for some time and you have a YouTube channel, you've read certain reviews on other public speaking books, you have a blog, you have a consultation practice. I'm sure you've heard an array of different questions and concerns, And you too have faced a lot of questions and concerns yourself that you had to learn the hard way. So if your book is about speaking, as you're in the general state, start to output out a lot of information that you think will be relevant to your book. We're not necessarily organizing or anything like that for the time being. In the general phase, we're rather messy. We're saying speech anxiety, speaking skills, running out of breath, what to wear for a speaking occasion, and we're just letting our mind fly and we're writing everything down. Next, we want to get a little bit more specific, but not too specific yet. At this point, we want to start to get a general flow for how the book is going to go. And as we're starting to pick up the flow, we're starting to find a theme of how the book is going to work. What do we want the reader to get out of this book? The goal is to make them a better speaker. In what occasion? Public speaking. So now we have narrowed it down just a little bit more. And once we have narrowed it down a little bit more, it becomes easier to cross off a lot of the unnecessary ideas that we had in the general stage. And then we get more specific. As we're getting more specific, now we're starting to organize the flow of the book. Why are speaking skills important? The parts that make up a voice. How to use your voice. And we're just creating a general flow of how everything is going to work. Then we're getting more specific. What are some of the subsections that each of the main chapters are going to have? I don't want to give you too much because this is a creative process at the end of the day. But the main thing that you want to get out of this video is that you want to go from general to more and more specific. Once you've gone over the outline a few times, you'll notice that you're starting to build conviction in regards to what your book is going to look like. Rather than just running straight into the forest, now you have a bird's eye view. Now this is where the next part becomes important. You want to give yourself more structure. You see this outline that you have? I want you to map it to your calendar. I want you to cross-apply each of the portions of the outline to your calendar, and you're going to break down when you're going to write down each section. So let's say the author's preface, you're going to write down on Monday. The next section is the introduction. You're going to write that on Tuesday. Then chapter 1, you're going to write that on Wednesday. Not all of chapter 1, just the beginning portion of chapter 1. Chapter 1.1, you're going to write on Thursday. You get the point. Your goal is to map the outline to the calendar however you see fit. The more that you're seeing that you're creating a schedule for yourself, the more that you're going to get your book done in an appropriate manner. And every now and then, you don't want to get too strict. If it's a book where it's highly complex and you at this point don't know if you can get through the entire author's preface in one sitting, then occasionally you want to give yourself 2 days. But this is once again a creative process and it's going to depend book by book by book. But this section, the main thing that you want to get out is find a way to connect the outline with your calendar. Now you've mapped your outline with your calendar. Today is your first day. You're going to write the author's preface. Question is, how are you going to write? Are you going to be focusing a whole bunch on grammar, punctuation, spelling? No. We're going to be writing with intention, and our goal at this point is to understand that we're pretty much creating the first draft. And in terms of the first draft, we don't really care about the spelling, the punctuation, and all of that yet. We're going to come back to that later. Our goal right now is to get our ideas from our mind to the external world. And the more that we can let loose, flow, the more that our personality is going to seep into our writing. So as we're writing down each section based off of our calendar dates, we want to make sure that we are writing with intention. Our main goal is to get the ideas from point A to point B, and we're going to be doing all the punctuation, spelling, grammar, all that stuff later. Congratulations, you have gone through all the content. You have gone through all the days in the calendar, and who knows, it's probably been a couple of weeks to a couple of months, maybe a year. I don't know how long your book is, but congratulations. This is something that a lot of people say that they're going to do, but they never do. What you should do at this point is take a break and relax. Celebrate. Okay, I'm telling you to take a break so you can celebrate. That's one part. But another part of the reason you want to take a small little break is because at this point, you're going to be entering a new mode of thinking. Before, you were fearlessly creating. Now, you are editing with precision. You're going to be one of those people, by the time that you come back, you're going to be understanding, okay, I have to now focus on spelling. I have to clean up the punctuation, the grammar, etc. Some people, they actually outsource this. They have someone else proofread it and take care of the editing, which if you have the budget, you can do. But I'm building this class with the assumption that you don't have the budget and that you are going to be editing your own work. And don't worry, it doesn't matter if you have the budget or not. You editing your own work is how you start to build more proficiency in the skill set of writing. So do it with enthusiasm. Every word of yours that you read back, the more that you start to understand, okay, I'm glad that I included these points, but these couple of points are rather redundant. Oh, whoa, how did I forget these points? Let me add it on. You want to edit the book a few times. So at this point, I'm telling you to take a break for that particular reason. So by the time that you come back, you are being astute. Congratulations for making it this far. I believe you are going to write an amazing book. And to help you in your journey, I'm going to be giving you a class project which is going to hold you accountable. You, my friend, are going to write your own book outline. The way that you're going to write it is by first creating the topic of what your book is going to be about. Who is this book going to help? What is the subject matter? What is the emotional reason that you are writing this book? Think about this right before you dive into the outline. Once you have a few of these questions answered, then I want you to create the outline. Create it however you want to create it, but a few little tips. Start off general. The more general that you start off, the more that you are brainstorming ideas and jotting it down. Then you're going to get a little bit more specific. As you're getting more specific, you're crossing off a few of the ideas. Then you're getting more specific. At this point, you're organizing the ideas into a nice logical flow. Then you're getting even more specific. You're starting to add subsections, subsections, however you want to do it. But ultimately, we are following the general to specific formula. Good luck on your book outline, and if you're up for it, go on and post it in the class project section right on below. If you enjoyed this class, I appreciate you for joining me. And if you want more content from the ArmaniTalks brand, be sure to go on ArmaniTalks.com, where you're going to see a lot of my YouTube videos, podcasts, blogs, and books. I look forward to seeing you on ArmaniTalks.com. Thank you very much.